Hey guys, what's up? I'm your girl Mishka Max here. Welcome to another episode of F.A.M.E Weekly Talk. We're bringing to you the food, the art, the music, and of course the environment. All right. So today with me, her book has made it on the list of, well, actually on the review list of New York Times. Oh yeah, and of course with her contribution, her phenomenal contribution to the literary and culinary world. Let us welcome Miss Rosemary Parkinson.
Thank you very much.
How are you? Oh my God, you're so welcome. How are you today?
I would say that I'm pretty good.
Wonderful.
Why not? I'm in Barbados, aren't I?
That's true too. Okay, so we're here to talk about your book.
Yeah.
Your masterpiece. This is exactly what it is, a culinary masterpiece. Let's just show them. Barbados Bun Bun, My Culinary Adventure 1 and 2, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This book. Tell us all about it.
Well, basically I started with the very first one that I did, which was Culinary, the Caribbean. In Germany, they were doing books on all different places, and I wanted a small cocktail book that I'd done. And when I went in, they said, oh, no, we don't do little small books. We're doing Culinaria Europe. And I said, oh, so what about Culinaria Caribbean? Oh, there's nothing there. And I went, like, what? So that was my first book, and they sent me, and we went to all the islands and with photographers and so on, and I wrote a culinary book. After that, things happen in your life, and then I went to Jamaica for 3 days to sell that book, to basically to launch it and to sign books. And next thing I knew, I went for 3 days, and I stayed 10 years.
10
so
years, wow.
Out of that, and working with the newspaper that I had been traveling all around the island and looking for food and people to talk to and stories and so on. So therefore, Nyam Jamaica came into being. Having finished Nyam Jamaica, I'm on a plane coming to Barbados, and who should I meet but Mia Motley, who in her wonderful voice of command was, where's the book for Barbados? And that started the book on Barbados.
Oh my goodness, wonderful. So this book, if you haven't read it, definitely, it just encompasses everything Barbados, everything that's cuisine. It introduces you to Barbados. It reintroduces you to Barbados. And it's just not a cookbook.
No.
What is it?
But personally, when I describe the book, I describe it as a complete whole of what Barbados really is. So the book has history, it has culture, it has tradition. And then what I do is I travel from parish to parish. I give a little story about the parish itself as a whole at the beginning of each section. And then I speak to the people of Barbados. So I may have like one hotel in there or one guest house or something, but I'm actually moving around and I'm talking to the people. They're giving me their stories and they're giving me their recipes, by the way. So, and even after I completed this, I still had extra. So that what you discover when you do something like that is that Barbados, there is much more to Barbados than what we are portraying as tourism. Because in the world today, tourism has become more about cuisine and more about actually meeting people and going off the beaten track. They're still doing the museums. They're still pushing the arts. They're still pushing all of those things that countries have. But right now, tourism is really more going. And in fact, foodie tourism is the biggest tourism in the world.
Wow,
which is something that we're not paying attention to in the Caribbean.
Wow. Yeah. So you writing this book, that was your mission.
That's my mission, to show, to talk to the people, let them give me their lives. Of course, they use photography as well, and everybody always gives me a recipe.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the book, you have the history, but you also have, at the beginning of the book, I do weddings, births, weddings, all the different things that are encompassing of Barbados. So you have the rum industry, you have this and so on, so right down into Easter. What do we do for Easter? What do we do for Christmas? And independence. And it ends there. And then it starts the travel through parish to parish.
Wow. Also, this book has, you have cute, did you know facts in it, which again, for me, I was so impressed with it because, like you explained, it's not just a cookbook.
No.
Little did I know about the women walking through Bridgetown with that can on their head,
the
selling
Bobby
the
can.
Morby. I mean, these are things that I've been here for years and I
Yeah.
had no idea.
The
So
cotton
again,
that we used to have, and the Sea Island cotton, which is the best in the world,
wow,
from the old days. And there's there's just those little tidbits that and within the book as well, in the stories are there as well. People tend to look at the pictures and don't look at the stories, and then they say it's a cookbook, but it's not a cookbook. I keep saying it's not a cookbook. It's like an encyclopedia
yeah,
of what Barbados is today,
yeah.
and was before and is today. Because I do go into the past as well,
Yeah.
and bring you right into the present.
Tell me again, right? Barbados cuisine. You're taking it to the world. What you think is like the next step?
The next step for Barbadian cuisine is that we have to understand one thing. The foodies that are traveling the world are made up of many, many types of foodies who go for. You can see that on the food networks, for instance. And maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That we need a food network. We need a food network to push us that goes worldwide. Because we do have a really good base of a great cuisine. And then on top of that, because of all of the movement of people that we've had in Barbados, a lot of people don't even know that we're now doing fusions, which is also a good thing. So I love the fact that we have side of the road. When I say that, market, restaurant upstairs, great local food. We have lots of little small establishments that are doing great local food. But what we don't have is taking that local food to levels of gourmet. And further than just gourmet, art on a plate. But the taste remains behind. So there's a young chef called Jason O'Howard. He came here. He is awesome. I gave him a challenge. And I said, put pudding and sauce as a gourmet plate. If you see, I might even send you a picture so that you can see what this boy produced. And when you taste it, your whole mind goes back to home and you're putting in sauce on a Saturday.
Wow.
Because it tastes exactly, but it's like art on a plate. So it is about taking our food. It's not about bringing in imports and making gourmet. I'm talking about using our foods. Now, when we talk about foods and we talk about our foods, then we have to consider that what is our foods? Because we are importing far too much foods and we're forgetting our agricultural base. And an agricultural base is extremely important for the keeping of the history of our local foods. Wow. A sweet potato from America ain't no sweet potato compared to our sweet potato. I'm passionate about local food, growing food, and I think that, look at this, we have a pandemic. What would happen if everything shut down that we couldn't get any imports into this island?
We start growing our own food. Hope we have green fingers.
People are beginning, I'm seeing more and more on social media that people are beginning to have little small plots at the back of the house to, help
and sustain
the family.
Yeah.
But we need that. And there are some people doing some very good farming right now, sustainable farming. We need to make sure that we can feed the island.
You told me a story earlier before we go about you taking tourists to the market just to give them, just a feel of what Barbados life is like, going to the market on a Saturday, eating local foods. Tell me about that. Well, tell them about that.
For me, when I go to an island or when I go, even when I go to London or anywhere that I've traveled, Europe, the first thing I just go to a market.
Yeah.
That's because I love food, and that's because I'm very interested in different foods. So when people come to Barbados, naturally I take them to the market. And Friday and Saturday,
this is a market in Bridgetown.
I usually go to Cheapside.
Okay.
Because that is our biggest market, and has the biggest range of foods. I particularly have been eating with Harriet for some odd 40 years.
Wow.
My kids were tiny and they're now in their 50s when I used to go to Harriet.
Wow.
So Harriet, what I do is I take, we have tablecloths, I have wine glasses, I take a couple bottles of wine.
Yeah.
And Harriet cooks up whatever they want because she has a menu.
Wow.
So it could be, oxtail and cuckoo, or
Yeah.
cuckoo and saltfish,
Yeah.
or breadfruit cuckoo, whatever she has on the menu that day. But it's all local, and she's on top of the market, so she's buying the fresh produce.
Yes.
And cookies. And then on Saturdays I do grannies because
Really?
putting themselves is like to die for, and it's traditional.
Yeah.
It's not baked without the skin. We need that. We need that to come back. It's everybody. It's not healthy. It's nonsense. People have been eating that forever and ever. We have to stop getting rid of things because the truth is that we're too lazy.
It's a lot of hard work. I wouldn't lie to you. A lot of the foods, traditional foods, especially when you have to make that pudding, and so you have to grate that sweet potato. It's a lot.
When you spend time doing food, that is when it tastes best.
Wow.
And not only that, but it gives you, it just gives you a feeling of belonging. Food is the catalyst for peace and for love and for everything that is good. Think about it. Without food, we'll be all dead, number one. But when somebody is cooking food for you and they show time and love with it, it is certainly a lot better than going to get a piece of chicken from guess who. I'm not going to mention names, but you drive up to a hole and you pop it through, and you don't even know how long the chicken been there and what it cooking, and how long the oil been there and what.
Wow.
So at home, you are getting something that is fresh, and it is nutritious usually, and as I said, filled with love.
Filled with love, like all the recipes in this in this culinary masterpiece. It's not a cookbook; it is a culinary masterpiece.
Thank
all
you
right.
so much for saying that.
Okay, so we can actually find this book on Amazon. There's
they don't have
version.
the hardcover on Amazon.
No.
They only have the ebook, and because of its size, they had to do it into 4 volumes. But it's certainly a lot less expensive than this because this was done first. And but this, of course, is a collector's item.
It is.
And it did win best self-published book in the world by Gourmand. Nothing is more dear to me than showing people that our Caribbean islands are special.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing.
Miss Rosemary Parkinson, again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Being here.
I feel very honored.
Yeah.
As I told you before, I'm not very keen on being in front of a camera. I like being behind the camera. As most of the photography is there, I did myself, and I just love taking pictures of food and humans cooking it and people eating, and I just love that. So being in front of the camera is daunting, but you have a cute camera guy.
What can I say? He is.
Every now and then you take a little look to make me feel happy. And then what can I say about my interview?
Oh my God.
I love lunatics, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
Oh, we're not supposed to talk.
Well, on that note, guys, listen, make sure that you guys check it out, all right? Go and get this book. You can get it at, remind us where?
Well, Cloister Bookstore for sure have them. And the museum have them. Trying to think. Now,
Right,
the university library had them, but I've just come back from quarantine, as you know, so I have got to make a rounds and check up.
Yeah, but we can get it from here as well, at the antique shop here as well.
And you can get it here at Greenwich Antiques. Yes.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Award-winning author Rosemary Parkinson sharing with us her journey on this culinary experience. Listen, taking the Caribbean to the world, BIM to the world, and of course through food, all right? So I'm your host, Mishka Makte. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the F.A.M.E Weekly Talk, the food, the art, the music, and the environment. See ya.